Hello, I'm Alexis Clay. I'm an independent Arabic localizer and software engineer. In this 10-minute talk, I will show you some common design and technical considerations to take for the user interface when you add Arabic language support to your game. I have worked on 7 released localizations in Arabic. I worked on Dicey Dungeons, which was an IGF-nominated game, and I worked on We Become What We Behold and The Evolution of Trust, which were both viral web games. I've added Arabic support to released games in 4 different engines. Those are Unity, Hax, Pico 8, and Web. Web included working with in-house rendering frameworks. I am also a native Arabic speaker who grew up and expatriated to America recently in 2016. I started localizing games as a hobby because I always considered that Arabs are an ignored audience, and also because I think it has great accessibility need, especially since English is the 3rd most popular language, whereas Arabic is the 5th most popular language, with 315 million speakers according to Babbel.com. What is localization? Localization is translating a product from one language to the other while adhering to the new audience's culture. So, why should you care about localizing? I'm going to illustrate that with a story. My brother was once playing The Witcher 3, and as a game that relies on written storytelling to build the world. He knew enough English that he was able to complete all the quests and sort of understand the context of the story, but he wasn't able to feel the stakes or engross himself into the world, which is really what the meat of The Witcher is about. However, when he switched the language to Arabic, he ended up loving the experience and all the side reading content in the game. And my goal as a localizer is to bring more experiences like that to the market. So, what makes Arabic special? Can't you just hire an Arabic localizer and have them copy and paste the translation into the game? The short answer is no. As Arabic is non-Latin based, there are some special cases you have to consider with Arabic that are unlike most other languages. Here are some of the problems with Arabic localization. Communication between the engineer and the translator is hard. As an engineer, you may be solving problems that you cannot visualize, and that's frustrating. Regional restrictions, as in, if you want to make a retail product, then you'll be dealing with, for example, the Arab equivalent of an ESRB organization. But even if you're not considering publishing officially in Arab regions, it's still worth it from an accessibility and business perspective for the Arab audiences that live outside those regions and countries. Developer misconceptions about the difficulty of localizing to Arabic. In this talk, I'm going to show you that it's not effortless, but it's also not that difficult either. A lot of the work you have to do is already done by other plugins, and none of the plugins do anything unique. They mostly work in the same method for each task. Here are the most common technical features that let you render Arabic text. I'll explain each of them. The list on the left has the features that you must have for bare bones legibility. And if you forget to add one of those, it will be very embarrassing. And there are actual released AAA games that didn't include them on release and had to patch them in after a media fiasco. The list on the right includes features you can add for extra polish. It will make navigating the user interface as good for an Arab audience as it is for a Western audience, but it's usually optional. Required feature number 1, UTF-8 support. This one is guaranteed these days. Modern game engines and text editors already support this by default because it's needed for non-Latin characters. If you input characters, but they're rendered or saved as question marks or blank characters in-game, you may need to add UTF-8 support or check that you're getting the correct Arabic lookup locations. Required feature number 2, Arabic shaping. I have 2 examples. The one on the left is illegible, and the one on the right is legible. So, even though the position of the letters is the same and all letters are the same in both examples, the one on the left is illegible because those letters need the correct alternative shape. So, those shapes are in the fonts file, but they're not called correctly. In the Unity engine, you'll get the illegible result by default. Thankfully, there are plugins to fix this issue. Even if you're not using Unity, you need an Arabic shaping plugin such as Harfuzz to make the letters and replace the original shapes with the correct shapes of the letters in the text. Required feature number 3, flipping text. The abbreviations LTR and RTL are very common to hear. They stand for left to right and right to left. As commonly known in English, all letters, punctuation, and numbers go left to right. So if I want to write the word apple, I start by writing the letter A on the left, followed by P to the right of it, ending by E to the very right. That is, the word is written left to right. The same goes for Arabic numbers. 100 or 100 is still 100 from left to right. However, Arabic letters and punctuation are right to left. Now, as a quick solution, you can reverse the string if you don't have a lot of text. But then, when we don't support the specification properly, or when we mix different languages in the same sentence, the letters might get reversed, or the order or the direction of the phrase might be reversed. And so I will show you the proper way to determine the direction of the text. What if we wanted to mix English and Arabic? Or what if we want the player to chat in-game? Then we have to support BiDi. The term BiDi stands for bidirectional, or the Unicode bidirectional algorithm. What this algorithm does is it lays out the positions of the characters in memory, which would be different from the visual positions on screen to make it proper to read. In this example, we have a sentence that means Sammy pressed square to jump. So we have a predominantly Arabic sentence that goes right to left, but it has English words and English punctuations in it, which are spelled in the opposite direction. So, per BiDi, the visual positions should be different from the memory positions. To illustrate that, if you put the cursor on the sentence and press the left arrow key on the keyboard, it will show you the actual memory locations. Nonetheless, this is working as intended and the sentence is legible. If you didn't completely understand what I said, that's okay. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can use a BiDi implementation such as try BiDi and look up how it works. Now that we are done with the required features, let's move on to optional feature number 4, realigning UI. There are no plugins for this. You have to do it using the UI tools in your engine. The way Windows does realigning is a golden example. You can see on the left picture that they flipped the position of the text to the right side of the window bar to make it easier to read. Since in Arabic we read text from right to left, and on the picture to the right they flipped the location of the start button by default from the bottom left to the bottom right. I want to clarify that this is not a required feature. It is polished to make the user experience intuitive for an Arab audience. This is honestly a heroic effort, and you don't have to do it, but it is appreciated. Optional feature number 5, numeral conversion. When I say numerals in English, those are technically called Arabic numerals, and numerals in Arabic are called Eastern Arabic numerals. Confusing. So I mentioned earlier that numbers in both English and Arabic are LTR, but Arabic language has different symbols to represent the same numbers. There are 2 solutions. 1, you do nothing, because Arabs can read both versions easily, or you can go above and beyond and use the Arabic numerals because aesthetically they look more fitting along the Arabic letters. You do that using a simple map. So in your game you would check the language. If it's English, then this is what a 1 looks like, but the language is Arabic, then that's how a 1 looks like. I have a solution to demonstrate this on GitHub. Number 6, Arabic keyboard input. This is optional or required depending on who you ask. Arabic tends to have both QWERTY and Arabic layout keyboards, so they anticipate this problem. Make sure to test different operating systems and different keyboard layouts and different languages. There is no silver bullet solution, sadly, but if you're having this problem, you probably also have it for other languages like German, and the solutions would be the same. We are almost at the end here. As a bonus, I'll mention tips for web development. Web already has the required features, but you can add the optional features that I talked about earlier. One thing I really want to point out is the direction tag, dir equals RTL. You can place that anywhere to realign any elements for RTL script. It's amazing, it works like magic, it saves me hours of work. In closing tips, keep good communication with the localizer. Their work is not done when they deliver the translation. Make sure that they are reading the translation in-game while they are writing it to avoid media fiascos. Flipping text to RTL is required. Realigning text is optional. Thank you very much for watching. I'm on Twitter at alex_clay_, or you can visit my blog at habibtalk.com. Thank you again and have a wonderful day.